Hi everyone, today we are going to see the basics of software testing, types of software testing, and also the interview questions associated with it. So, if you look into the definition of software testing, it is mainly the process of testing the software or a program or an application in order to find the software bugs. That is to make sure the product which you are testing is of bug free. And also, in other words, you can say whether it to check whether it meets the business and technical requirements of the product. So we can see in detail about the bug and the SRS. So what is meant by a bug is it is nothing but an error or a defect or a failure in a computer application or the software which leads to invalid or unexpected result. So mainly why it causes errors, it actually originates either from source code or the design of the product itself. For example, if you want to check the login functionality of an application like Facebook, you are giving correct username and password but still you are not able to log in into Facebook. This could be a functionality error in the Facebook itself. So that's the problem. This is one such bug that fails to meet the requirement of the product. So what is meant by software requirements? In the software requirement is nothing but a document wherein it states how an application has to interact with the system hardware or other programs or any external interface, and also the response time and human users in a wide variety of real world situations. So the analyst and the engineers communicate with the client and the end user to know the complete requirement about their functionality and the features of the product. So it has to be clear, correct, consistent, coherent, because on the basis of this you are going to design the product, and if this is going to be ambiguous, then the product itself is a failure. So before developing a product or before testing the product, you need to make sure you understand the complete software requirement. So who does software testing? There are four people involved in software testing. The first one is software tester. There are a separate team of software testing who involves dedicated for the software testing itself. The next one is software developer. Mainly they checks the software code. It is called unit testing. Sometimes project lead or manager also will test the product. And the last one would be end user. It is called acceptance testing. So the end user will test the product whether it satisfies their needs and also it meets the requirements of what they are expected to. So why we are going for software testing? Mainly the software is developed by the human beings, so there could be errors. So in order to make sure the quality of the product is good, we need to go for software testing. The second is software requirements. Obviously we have discussed this in detail previously. And also the performance. For example, if you are testing an application and the response time and the performance of the application should be in acceptable manner. For example, if you are loading a web page and your waiting time would be around some 10 seconds or 20 seconds, more than that would lead the user in a very unsatisfied way. So in order to check the performance also, you need to go for software testing. The fourth one is usability. Obviously the application which you are going to develop or the product we are going to develop has to be user friendly, and also the usability should be good. The fourth one is compatibility. So in real world scenarios, nowadays there are numerous softwares available and numerous hardware available, so your application has to work in all such kind of hardwares where you're intended to. For example, in mobile there are a lot of applications, Android applications, and a lot of manufacturers. Android means mobile manufacturers, wherein you need to test that application, and mostly in all the manufacturers also. So that interaction with different hardware and different browsers, all these such test cases has to come under this compatibility. So there are two types of testing mainly. One is manual testing and automation. In manual testing, the tester, who is a human being, will take the role of an end user and test the software to identify the invalid result or unexpected result. So they does this without any automation tool or any script, by using test cases which is written by them, obviously. So some examples of manual testing are unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance test. The next one is automation testing. It is nothing but the tester uses some software tool to test the product, instead of manually. They write scripts before executing the test case, and then without any manual intervention, they test the product. And also they do the feasibility study before doing before writing the scripts. So for example, there are a lot of test cases for the product. So when you look into the test cases, it is not feasible that all the test cases can be done automatically. Few test cases can be done automatically, and few test cases can be done manually. You need to distinguish between those test cases and do the feasibility study and check whether which test cases are automatable. So after identifying it, you can start writing the script. Before writing the script, the main thing is you need to select the appropriate tool for automation. You need to do a lot of research and analysis which automation tool is best for your application. So the last slide would be interview questions, and what is meant by software testing, and also bug. And then third would be difference between bug and defect. Personally, I feel that bug and defect are the same, but in most of the websites they have written like bug is actually found by tester and the defect is agreed by the developer. So once the bug is reported by the tester, the developer has to agree that bug and they will fix that bug. That is called a defect. So what is SRS means? Software requirement specification, that we have seen in previous slides in detail, and also types of testing. And fourth, last one is advantages of automation testing. So if you look into advantages, mainly due to the speed we are going for automation testing. Manual tester would require a lot of effort and time in order to test a particular test, but in the automation tool it requires a fraction of second. And the second one is reliability. We are going for automation, and also manual errors could be avoided. And fourth one is if you have 2 or 3 builds continuously, like morning one build and night one build, you can't do it. Like, you can't expect the manual tester to finish their testing. So if there is an automation tool, obviously you can initiate the testing, and in the overnight the automation tool will execute, and in the morning if you come, you can expect the results. And these are some of the advantages of automation testing. So thank you. This is about software testing basic, and in further slides we can see, and in further presentation we can see what types of testing, and also other things which is related to software testing.